Hey guys, so as you can probably tell, this is a bit different than where I usually film, but I am in my parents' bedroom, hence why the lighting is yellow. But we're gonna make the most of it. So, if you're a regular on YouTube, you've probably seen everyone doing their recap of 2016 videos. And I was gonna film a video like that. I was gonna recap my 2016, the positives, the not so positives, what I learned, the whole thing. And then I decided not to. I came into 2017 with a positive mindset and I want to keep it that way. But I still wanted a way to recap my 2016, but in a positive light. So, being the author that I am, I decided to do a book haul for 2016. All the books that I bought. And that's a lot of them. So this video will be in two parts, one with all the books here at my parents' house, and then one back in my apartment. So yeah, that's how I decided to recap my 2016. I have never done a book haul before. I've done book reviews, and I write them, but I've never sat down and done, these are all of the books that I bought. And I've also never watched one. So I figured that I'll do what I do best and wing it. And I hope it turns out okay. So I haven't read all of the books that I bought in 2016 because I'm a huge book hoarder. So I buy them all the time from Amazon, from the used bookstore, from a regular bookstore, wherever. I constantly buy books. So I'm going to share with you guys what I bought, starting with the books that I've actually read and then going into the books that I haven't yet. And then if you guys have read them, drop me a comment. Let me know if it's worth my time or not. So yeah, let's get started. So as I mentioned before, a lot of these books at my parents' house will be books that I haven't read yet, but I am happy to share with you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and start with the books I have read, starting with Not After Everything by Michelle Levy. So I picked up this book on Amazon, book searching, as I usually do in my pastime. And I actually added it to my list because I felt like it was a little expensive. And I ended up buying it with an Amazon gift card because it was expensive for me. I'm the kind of person that spends a couple of dollars on a book. I'll go up to 8 or 9. I think this one was $13, so it ripped my soul. But I bought it. So this book is about Tyler. He is a football star. He has a scholarship to Stanford, a hot girlfriend. Basically everything you think a football player would have, Tyler has it. And then his mom kills herself. And so he's left with an abusive father and nothing to fall back on. So this book is about basically Tyler finding himself again. He gets a job, reconnects with his friend from his childhood, Jordan, who's now turned goth girl, loner. But he's afraid to bring her too close because of his unstable home life. I wouldn't say that I absolutely loved this book, but it was a good read. I enjoyed reading it. So, thumbs up for me. So the next book I have is Standoff by Andrew Smith. I did not know when I bought it that it was a sequel to a book called Winger. So there's actually two of them. I didn't read Winger because I already know what happens, and I felt like that basically ruined the book for me. This book is about Ryan Dean. He's basically a genius. He's a senior and he's young. I think he's 15. He's 15. And he plays rugby at a private school. And I don't want to give away Winger, so I'm not going to say much more. But you get to meet a new character named Sam Abernathy, who is basically Ryan Dean 2.0, except not into sports and suffers from claustrophobia. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was a good read. I wish I knew about Winger first. That's why I'm letting you guys know. So it gets 2 thumbs up for me. So the next book I have is called 100 Sideways Miles, and it's also by Andrew Smith. I didn't know that when I bought the book from Amazon, but I recognized his style of writing. So, within the first chapter. However, I wasn't as much of a fan as this book as I was Standoff. So this book is about Finn Easton, and he sees the world in miles instead of minutes. So he counts how many miles he's gone instead of how many minutes he's gone by what the earth spins. It's really confusing, but it's also really interesting. This book is about Finn Easton trying to find himself. So basically, he has a best friend, Kate Hernandez, who's also a little bit insane. And he has a crush, Julia Bishop. And so this is about Finn trying to navigate that world as an epileptic boy who is a character in his dad's novel. And he's trying to convince himself that there is more to him than what's written on paper. As I said, I wasn't really that much of a fan of this book. I like the characters, but the writing kind of threw me. I felt like it was really jumpy. I don't know if this is one of Andrew's older books or what, but I just wasn't that much of a fan. The next book I have is called Paperweight by Meg Haston. Another book that I personally liked. I picked it up because I'm currently writing a book. It's not on Wattpad yet, but it's about a boy who suffers from bulimia. And this book is about a girl who suffers from bulimia. And so I kind of wanted to be in the head of her and know, what she was feeling, the steps she was going through, kind of the whole shebang. Paperweight takes place inside of a rehab center in the mind of 17-year-old Stevie. And it's honestly a very hard read because of how deep it is and how real it is. And I found myself having to put it down and just breathe for a minute because it was intense, but I'm definitely a fan. So next we have My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. I didn't know that this book was a series, so I read the spinoff first, which I'll talk about in a minute. But you should definitely read My Life Next Door first if you want to read the series, because the next book takes place afterwards. So Samantha Reed is the daughter of a politician. Her mom is running for state senator, and everything in her house is neat, perfect, clean. Even Samantha is expected to be that way at all times. And Samantha likes to sit on her roof and watch her next door neighbors, who she's not allowed to hang out with, because they're messy, they're fun, they're loud, they're everything Samantha Reed's house isn't. So she likes to be a part of their life without really being a part of their life. And then one day, the next door neighbor, Jace Garrett, climbs her trellis up onto her rooftop, and they have a conversation, and her whole world spirals from there. I really liked this book. I read it all in one sitting, and I definitely give it 2 thumbs up. It kept my attention the whole time. So the spinoff to My Life Next Door is The Boy Most Likely To, and it's by Huntley Fitzpatrick. And if you know anything about me and what I write, you'll understand why this book immediately caught my attention in Barnes & Noble. Tim Mason was the boy most likely to find the liquor cabinet blindfolded, need a liver transplant, drive his car into a house. As soon as I read that, I was like, it's a baggage boy. That's my kind of book. So basically, Tim Mason is a friend of the Garretts, who were the main people in the last book. And it's about living his life. You see him in the last book, but this is really focused on Tim and his life journey. So yeah, I really love this book. I give it 2 thumbs up. I also read this book in an entire sitting on a plane. It was so good. Thank you, Huntley Fitzpatrick. So the next book I have is a Wattpad anthology, and it is... it's not going to focus. Once Upon Now. And it's by, it was a contest held on Wattpad, and there were 10 winning authors, and they got published in this anthology. And in case you haven't heard of it, Once Upon Now is retelling of classic fairy tales in the modern day world. And I'm a fairy tale fanatic, so I loved it. I loved all the stories in here. I also got a signature. So thank you, Michaela, for signing my book. And the last book I have is the Imagined anthology, also another one from Wattpad. These are stories, fan fiction stories that have been put together in an anthology. I have to admit, I haven't read all the stories in here. It's a pretty big book. The ones I have read are definitely worth the read. I'd also like to thank everyone at NYC Wattpad for signing my book. It really meant a lot. And because I kind of took this book from Wattpad HQ, thank you to everyone at Wattpad back in May for signing the book too. So now I will show you guys the books that I bought that I haven't read, and I'd love to hear your feedback on them. The first one I have is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I found it by Wattpad user Claudia over there on Twitter, and I was like, sold. Like, love hearing that people love books. So I've never read anything by Colleen Hoover. I know she's a pretty popular author, but I am very excited. Next I have Famous in Love by Rebecca Searle. It still has the price tag on it. I bought it at the used bookstore, which is where I find a lot of my books. From what I gather, this book follows the life of Paige, a young girl who was taken from high school, plucked into a movie blockbuster, and is now trying to navigate the Hollywood world. So it sounds interesting. Next I have Pierced by Love by Laurel Walker. You can see the price still on this one too. I don't actually think I can get that one off though. So basically this book is about a girl named Noelle and a boy named Pierce, and they both have different reasons not to want to fall in love, but it follows their romantic journey. So next I have Split, and I know I'm not going to be able to say the author's name, so I'll just show you. I know I'll just screw that up. Split is about a 16-year-old boy named Jace Witherspoon, and he shows up on his estranged brother's doorstep with a broken face and like $3 and some change, and no story to go with it. This is another author I can't pronounce, but the book is called Hail Caesar, and here's the author. Give her credit where credit is due, but I'm not going to try and butcher her name. So this book follows a boy named Caesar, and he's basically on top of the world. He has everything until a girl comes in and completely turns his life upside down. So next I have The Fine Art of Truth or Dare by Melissa Jensen. You can also still see the price on this book. I picked it up at the used bookstore. I think the cover really caught my attention, and I think that's why I picked it up. It's a very interesting cover. But yeah, the back doesn't really offer much on the book. You can see it's basically truths, I think, about the different characters, and then under Dare it says never say never. So, and last for my unread books, I have Adrenaline Crush by Lori Boyle Crompton. Price tag. So this story follows a young girl named Dinah who comes from a family of adventure seekers, and she lives for the thrill until she falls and splinters her ankle. So, which they refer to as her hippie mother, puts her in a healing center where she meets some new friends and reevaluates her life. So the last couple of books I have are both series that I received this year, and I'm so thankful. The first series I have is the After series by Anna Todd. If you are from Wattpad at all, you've definitely heard of Anna Todd. My Alexa knows who Anna Todd is. But yeah, I received the series from Wattpad when I was there at Wattpad HQ, and I purchased before so that I would have a complete series, which is why I have After, the British version. But I didn't really notice a difference, to be honest. I don't know what the English version looks like, but it seemed fine to me. I have only read the first 2 books in the After series, and you can probably see why. They're huge. So I read After, and then After We Fell, and then I took a short break because those are some heavy books to get through. So all I have left now is After We Collide and Happy, or After Ever Happy. I think it's a little bit shorter. I'm not sure though. And then I have Before. So I can know what happens before, after. But yeah, the series, as I said, it's pretty heavy. They're very long books. But I would recommend anyone to give them a shot. It follows the life of Tessa and Hardin. Those who from Wattpad know that it was originally a Harry Styles fan fiction. But you can't really tell that in the new story. It's Hardin instead. So yeah. And then the final book or series that I got, I've read before, but I got the entire series in hardback for Christmas, and I literally fangirled. So just a major shout out to my grandparents for this. But Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone is the first book in the Harry Potter series. I have the whole series now, and yeah, I'm so excited to reread them. It's been a long time. I read this book back in the 3rd grade, so it should be exciting. And that is all that I have for my book haul today. I will be filming a part 2 when I get back to my apartment, and I have the other half of the books that I bought in 2016. I hope that you liked it. If you did, leave a thumbs up and comment. Comment if you've read any of the books. Comment if you haven't, but one looked interesting. Just let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye. I feel like I sound like I'm crying. Should have organized these before I started the video. So this, I love Bert. But I